So this knife is a very recent antique mall find for me. I found a vendor who had a bunch of knives in like jewelry cases, and I found one of the jewelry cases that had what were very clearly some fairly old knives in them, and I dug through all them and picked out one that I wanted. And I didn't do any real research on it until I got home, which is interesting because this right here is a Booth Brothers knife, which, from what I've read online, moved to Tidiute and became part of the Tidiute Cutlery Company after they went out of business in New Jersey. So it's related to Tidiute, Pennsylvania. But as far as I can tell, this Tang stamp dates this knife somewhere between 1889 and 1903. So this knife is over 120 years old. Um, and I paid $24 for it. So pretty excited about that because the blade's mostly there. It's got this match strike nail nick here, which is cool. Um, I think this is supposed to be there, but it's hard to tell. It looks too like uniform to not be supposed to be there. So I don't know what that was supposed to be, but I think it's supposed to be there. Now I don't know how big this blade was supposed to be, but that's still a usable blade. Um, the back spring on this is still really nice. It's still very snappy. The action's very nice. The pen blade here is now a punch or an awl. It's been sharpened down so much. But you can see again the Booth Brothers Tang stamp there, Stockholm, New Jersey, which again, as far as I can tell, dates this knife somewhere between 1889 and 1903. Um, you've got a nice shield there. Kind of looks like a fish. I'm not sure what they would have called this. You can see the pin, so you know it's pinned. Um, Bolsters that I assume are steel, kind of interestingly like shaped. Reminds me a little bit of like the Ottermesser 3 rivet. And you can see here, it looks like somebody had fixed some blade play at some point, which is cool. One of the previous owners. These wooden handles, who knows what kind of wood this is? It could be ebony, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a darker, like a wood that is darkened over time. And I have covered this in mineral oil to try to protect it as much as possible. At some point, I do want to get like some jewelry cases or something to keep some of these older knives in, because I'm not going to carry this. This is just a cool piece of history, cool piece of cutlery history as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not sure what kind of wood this is, but you can see that I really doubt this was supposed to be jigged. So I think it's just beat up from being in somebody's pocket for so long. But kind of hard to tell. But it is in really good shape. There's no cracks or anything that I can tell. Um, this knife is just a really good example of a knife that was made a very long time ago. So once again, probably just going to get a jewelry case, put some of these older knives that I have in it, and just, display them somewhere. But this is a very cool knife. I was very excited to pick this one up. Very happy with it and everything, especially for the price that it was. Um, but yeah, so Booth Brothers Cutlery started in New Jersey. They started before the Civil War. They started in New Jersey in a plant in a part of New Jersey. I think it was Newark where they started. I did do a little bit of research on this, but I don't remember it all. So they started sometime before the Civil War. They displayed knives in like the World's Fair in France in like the early 1860s, late 1850s, something like that. And then at some point they moved to Stockholm, New Jersey in like 1889 or something. So their tang stamp changed. And then in 1903 they moved again. And then some point after that, the Tidiute Cutlery Company bought them and they moved to Tidiute, PA. But just a cool piece of cutlery history. I'm really excited about this knife. Um, I'm always excited to find stuff like this because this is so old that it's older than both of my parents and my grandparents, and like the only, like, I've never met, well, I've probably met someone, but I have never known anybody born like, during the period of time this knife would have been made, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Uh, so that's kind of interesting. Just the fact that it's still hanging around and everything. It just goes to show you that if you take care of your, pocket knives and their quality, um, pocket knives, they will very easily outlive you. This one has outlived these people's grandkids, probably, um, whoever originally owned this knife. So that is, pretty interesting to me. And, just any kind of old pocket knife like this that's in still pretty good condition is awesome, because there's so many knives that I find that aren't even that old, that are like these shell imperial knives that are just destroyed because somebody sharpened them on like a belt sander, and like, that's just how they kept sharpening it, and the blade's like completely gone. um so it's nice to find a knife like this where the blade's still there. I could still use this knife if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but I could, which is neat. But cool knife to add to my like cutlery collection. I've been trying to find more stuff like this because this is, quite frankly, more interesting than new knives. Of course, I still do love like Great Eastern Cutlery and Case and all those manufacturers and everything. But these knives that were produced, like a really long time ago, are just way more interesting. But anyway, this is this Booth Brothers little jackknife, maybe a boy's knife, maybe you'd call this. Produced somewhere, like I said, between 1889 and 1903, as far as I can tell. Um, and that's going to be it for this little video. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one.